everyone, and a very warm welcome back to episode 12 of our Easy English Conversation podcast. I am Zara, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Leo. If you are trying to improve your English listening skills while transforming your daily life habits, you are in the exact right place. Today's episode is incredibly special because we are breaking down the focus formula. But before we dive into how to train your brain for deep focus, we have a very small, heartfelt request for all of our amazing listeners out there.
That's right, Zara. Hello, everyone. We put a massive amount of love, energy, and research into creating these long-form episodes to help you speak English naturally and live a better life. If our episodes have ever made you smile, taught you a new word, or helped you feel more confident, please take just 2 seconds right now to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your single subscription is the fuel that keeps this channel running, and it helps other English learners around the world find us. So go ahead, smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's get locked into today's conversation.
You know, Leo, I have a confession to make before we even start. 2 nights ago, it was 2 a.m., the room was completely silent, and I was staring at my laptop screen with absolute panic because I had a massive deadline the next morning. I had the entire weekend to finish this work, but instead, I spent hours doing useless things like reorganizing my bookshelf, checking random emails, and scrolling through social media until my eyes hurt.
Oh, Zara, you are describing my exact life last week. It is comforting to know I'm not the only one who suffers from this. We sit down with the best intentions, telling ourselves, today I am going to be a productivity machine. But then 3 hours vanish into thin air. It feels like our focus is a wild animal that we simply cannot control, no matter how hard we try.
Exactly. And the worst part is the guilt that follows, because we immediately judge ourselves and think, wow, I am just a lazy person who lacks willpower. But recently, I realized that laziness isn't the real enemy here. The actual problem is that we live in a world that is literally engineered to steal our attention every single second.
You hit the nail on the head, Zara. Modern psychology actually proves that our brains aren't broken or lazy. They are just caught in a toxic trap of cheap dopamine hits. Every time we hear a notification sound, our brain gets a tiny rush of excitement, which makes focusing on a single quiet task like reading or writing feel incredibly boring by comparison.
Yes, it always starts with that one dangerous lie we tell ourselves. I will just check this one text message for 5 seconds. But we all know those 5 seconds instantly turn into 20 minutes of mindless scrolling down a rabbit hole of videos. And by the time we look back at our work, our mental energy is completely drained.
That transition is what scientists call attention residue, meaning that even when you finally put the phone down, a part of your brain is still stuck thinking about that message or video. Your focus is shattered into tiny pieces, so you aren't truly present with your work anymore, which makes the task take 3 times longer than it actually should.
So, how do we fix this? The very first step of the focus formula is creating a zero-friction environment for your mind. This means before you even dare to start your work or study session, you must physically remove every single item that could possibly trigger a distraction from your immediate eyesight.
That makes total sense, because if your smartphone is sitting right there on the desk next to your notebook, your brain is constantly burning valuable mental energy just trying to resist touching it. I started putting my phone inside a drawer in the other room, and it's amazing how quickly my brain accepted that it simply wasn't available anymore.
Exactly. Out of sight, truly out of mind. Now, the second step of the formula is defining the next physical action instead of setting massive, overwhelming goals. For example, if you tell your brain, I need to study English for 3 hours today, your brain will immediately feel terrified and seek a distraction to escape the stress.
Oh, definitely. That is way too broad and scary for the mind to process. Instead, we need to trick our brains by breaking it down into a tiny step. Like saying, I am just going to open my notebook and write exactly 3 English sentences about my morning routine. Once you lower the bar so low that your brain cannot say no, the initial resistance completely melts away.
Yes, momentum is absolute magic. Once you actually sit down and write those first 3 sentences, a strange shift happens in your mind, and you think, well, I'm already here, so I might as well write a few more sentences. The hardest part of focus is never the work itself. It is simply the friction of starting the work.
That is so true, Zara. Starting is always the highest mountain to climb. It's like a train moving down the tracks. It takes a massive amount of energy to get it rolling from a complete stop, but once it gains speed, it can crash through concrete walls with total ease.
I actually tried a small experiment yesterday where I went into a mini monk mode for just 90 minutes. I turned off the internet, put on some deep focus instrumental music, told my family not to disturb me, and just immersed myself entirely into writing my daily journal.
Wow, that sounds intense, but peaceful. Tell me, how did it honestly feel after the first 15 minutes passed? And did your mind keep trying to wander off to check the news or grab a snack?
To be completely transparent, the first 20 minutes were incredibly uncomfortable because my brain was screaming for a distraction. But I just sat there, breathed through the boredom, and suddenly the mental fog completely cleared away. I entered a state of flow where the words just poured out of me naturally, and I forgot all about time.
That is the secret, right there. You have to learn to ride the wave of boredom instead of running away from it. Most people give up the exact moment it feels slightly difficult. But if you can just survive that initial discomfort for 20 minutes, your brain will reward you with deep, beautiful clarity.
Ultimately, what the focus formula taught me is that we do not need to work for 10 exhausting hours a day to be successful or fluent. If you can give just 2 hours of absolute, uninterrupted, deep focus to your life goals every day, you will achieve more than most people do in a whole week.
Absolutely. It is always quality over quantity. Sitting at a desk for 8 hours while constantly daydreaming and checking your phone is a total illusion of hard work. 2 hours of deep work only is where the real life-changing growth happens.
And for all of our beautiful listeners learning English, apply this formula today. Do not try to memorize a whole dictionary in one day. Just sit down for 20 minutes with 0 distractions, listen closely to our voices, repeat the sentences naturally, and let your brain absorb the rhythm of the language.
That is the absolute best advice, Zara. Consistency combined with deep focus is the ultimate superpower that will take your English skills and your entire life to a level you never thought possible.
Thank you so much for spending this long, meaningful hour with us for episode 12. We truly hope these strategies help you find your own focus formula in your daily life activities. Please don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what distracts you the most.
Yes, we read every single comment. Thank you again for liking, subscribing, and being the best part of this podcast journey. Until next time, keep your environment clean, keep your mind locked in, stay focused, and keep moving forward. Goodbye, everyone.